The second step is to go from exploding your orgasms out through the genitals to imploding your orgasms up the spine. Hey brothers, it's Steffo Shambo here from the Tantric Man Experience, and in this video we're gonna take a look at how you can turn sexual transmutation into money, all right? Because the most powerful emotion is sexual desire. There is no force stronger than that in nature or in life anywhere. War has been fought over women, sex, and desire. So to have control over your sexual energy and then transmuting it is like having access to a superpower. Mastering the art of sexual energy transmutation before you work on all your other stuff, your relationship goals, your spiritual goals, your business goals, to reach your full potential. Don't do it backwards. Start with the strongest first. All right? This process will transform any man from a mediocre man to a genius, from a bickering relationship into a blissful relationship, from low self-confidence into radiant magnetism. All right? The most successful people in relationship, the richest entrepreneurs, and the best businessmen have all attained their mastery because of transmuting their sexual energy into sales through the use of sexual energy. We know these people as having a special magnetism and enthusiasm to them. We can't really put the finger on it, but they have that something extra, right? Have you ever experienced that? I think you have, right? So the majority of successful people have done it without even knowing exactly how they did it, what process they used, and they are unaware of the sexual transmutation that allow them to achieve their success. So in this video, we will break it down for you so you can get a clear path on how you can do this in your own life starting today. So first of all, we need to understand that the yogis distinguish between transmutation and sublimation. They are related, but not the exact same thing. So in short, transmutation is when you turn something gross into something refined, like turning lead into gold or semen into energy. Sublimation, on the other hand, is when you rise that energy upwards through the spine and into the brain. In yoga, you're not actually supposed to circulate the energy like in Taoism, but you're supposed to move it upwards. One of the most famous books on entrepreneurship and abundance mindset is the bestseller Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In that book, there is a chapter that is very different from the rest of the book. It's a mysterious chapter that talks about sexual transmutation. It's an abstract information in there that's given, and there's no clear practical steps on how to do it. If you have not read that book, I'll read it to you now, that chapter, that part, so you can save that time and you don't have to read that book yourself. And after this quote, I would tell you what is missing and how to actually apply it in your own life in 3 simple steps, and show you some real life evidence that this actually works. So here is the quote by Napoleon Hill. Sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is this desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge it. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all its attributes of keenness, of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as a powerful creative force in literature, art, or any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower, to be sure, but the reward is worth the effort. The desire for sexual expression is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated, but it should be given an outlet through forms of expression which enrich the body, mind, and the spirit of man. If not given this form of outlet through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. A river may be dammed and its water controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. The same is true for the emotion of sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but its very nature causes it to be ever-seeking means of expression. If it is not transmuted into some creative effort, it will find a less worthy outlet. Fortunate indeed is the person who has discovered how to give sex emotion, an outlet through some form of creative effort, for he has by that discovery lifted himself to the status of a genius. Scientific research has disclosed these significant facts. 1. The men of greatest achievement are men with highly developed sex natures, men who have learned the art of sex transmutation. 2. The men who have accumulated great fortunes and achieved outstanding recognition in literature, art, industry, architecture, and their professions were motivated by the influence of a woman. The research from which these astounding discoveries were made went back through the pages of biography and history far more than 2,000 years. Wherever there is evidence available in connection with the lives of men and women of great achievement, it indicated most convincingly that they possessed highly developed sex natures. The emotion of sex is an irresistible force against which there can be no such opposition as an immovable body. When driven by this emotion, men become gifted with a superpower for action. Understand these truths, and you will catch the significance of the statement that sex transmutation will lift one to the status of a genius. The emotion of sex contains the secret of creative ability. Destroy the sex glands, whether in man or beast, and you have removed the major source of action. For proof of this, observe what happens to any animal after it has been castrated. A bull becomes as docile as a cow after it has been altered sexually. Sex alteration takes out of the male, whether in man or beast, all the fight that was in him. Sex alteration of a female has the same effect. Isn't that a really amazing paragraph by Napoleon Hill? But as much as I love him, the book misses the knowledge on how to actually apply it in a practical sense. It is obvious that Napoleon Hill have been studying some Eastern philosophy, since he most likely got this information from yoga and tantra. So to give you some evidence of that this is actually working in real life and not just written in some books, Here is one of my students who used sex transmutation to create a thriving online business. So I was teaching him how to use this, how to master this aspect. And when he did, his business became incredibly successful, that generated more money than ever. And this was even during lockdown and COVID. So here's a short clip from the interview we did after he graduated my program.
Right up that alley of non-ejaculation, that's contributed enormously to my energy buildup. And as a result, I'm using that energy. I think Napoleon Hill mentioned that in like Think and Grow Rich, the sexual energy, being used for creative outlets. And in this case, for me, just the time being with this coronavirus situation, it's really like all these things came together where I really needed to get my shit together. And it just so happened that I have this built up energy now. The key though, I've learned is learning how to sublimate it, really. Otherwise, like I kind of, when I was first kind of building up this energy, my outlet was kind of frustration and anger because I wasn't learning how to sublimate it right. But now as a result, like I'm learning how to use that energy, especially in business right now, because that's needing my attention for the most part right now. So we, as a result of the coronavirus, to be honest with you, we're very successful. We're doing really well. And this has certainly helped us, help me, especially focus on what needs to be done and actually get doing it. And, honestly, if I didn't have this built up, newfound level of masculinity, I don't think I would have been able to accomplish what I have so far, because I wouldn't have had that drive to get it done, really.
People, and especially men, are like architects. We use our minds to birth ideas into the world, like Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, or even Elon Musk. They have all used sexual transmutation to achieve the level of manifestation and genius. But in order to do this, you need to be able to control your sexual energy and transmute it into creative energy. So here's what I want you to do. Step number 1. Make evolution and success more important than your sexual lust and desires. Aspiring towards being a better man, husband, and a father is more important than indulging in the animalistic pleasures and fulfill all your darkest sexual fantasies. And your purpose and mission in life are more important than dating as many young and beautiful women as possible and just playing the numbers game in the hookup culture. And you might not be ready to hear this, and that's totally fine. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but sex transmutation is not for everyone, and that's totally fine. Usually a bit of maturity and integration is needed to get to this place of readiness. What I see in the men that I work with is that usually in their 40s, they're ready for this. More often so than men in their 20s. Younger men in general seem to revolve their whole identity and universe around women and sex. They waste their sexual energy and drain their creative power in the pursuit of what they falsely perceived to bring them happiness, sex. When you can pivot your perspective to making evolution your number 1 priority, then you're ready for step number 2. The second step is to go from exploding your orgasms out through the genitals to imploding your orgasms up the spine. You do this by, first of all, practicing semen retention and the cultivation of moving sexual energy in your body. It makes totally sense, right? That you need to build up your sexual potential and charge your battery before harnessing it, right? So once you're able to control your ejaculation for an extended period of time, at least 21 days, while being sexually active. That's the difference of practicing ejaculation control and just being celibate, right? Then you will graduate to the next step. The greater the preservation of semen, the greater will be the transmutation of sexual energy into abundance. And the greater you will produce physical, mental, moral, and spiritual strength. Step number 3. The third step is to redirect your sexual desire. Use the build-up of sexual charges such as urges to watching porn, desires, lust, and fantasy. And instead of indulging in those activities, you shift the focus to your current goal. So for example, if you jerk off to porn, or you get that urge that you want to do that and have a quick release, stop in your tracks. Just stop. Be aware that you have this urge coming up and notice the underlying sensation of that desire. Notice where you feel it in your body. Notice how it's like a strong force, an invisible force trying to overpower you, to take control over you and make you a slave to it. It's almost like your willpower and decisive mechanism is gone and you're just now being controlled by your animalistic nature. Take a look at that next time. And then ask yourself, what do I truly want? Okay, what do I truly want? When you get to a deeper truth, then you will find that you probably don't really want to sit by yourself in front of a computer and pretend you're having sex with a couple that you don't even know on the screen, right? To find the underlying desire, whether that is to create art, to fix your marriage, to get a girlfriend, or feeling connected with friends. You will need to use willpower and the power of your mind to make this mental shift. Realize that there's so much potential here. Instead of channeling your power into the dumps of the dark energy of the porn industry, give that energy to your higher goal, your purpose, and your masculine potential. If you want to master the art of transmuting your sexual energy and use that superpower to attract your dream partner or to save your marriage, then you should definitely check out my free training in the link below. Just register with your name and email. And I know it can be difficult as hell to try to master your sexuality and fix your relationship by yourself. Having accountability, a community, and guidance are essential, right? So there's no successful person that didn't have a mentor. And you guessed it right, Napoleon Hill also had a mentor. His mentor was the first ever billionaire, Andrew Carnegie. So bottom line, go and find the best mentor out there. Click the link below this video to register for your free training, and I will see you there.
The Tantric Man Experience. Unleash your masculine power, passion, and purpose.